Kia ora and welcome to CIO Leadership Live. I'm Kathy O'Sullivan, editor for CIO New Zealand, and my guest today is Rebecca Thomas, CIO at PwC New Zealand. Hello, Rebecca.
Hi, Kathy.
Great to have you with us. So first of all, can you tell us a little bit more about your role at PwC and what your team does there?
Yeah, so at PwC, we have a team that covers applications, infrastructure, support, and we really work to try and make PwC, the people's experience with technology, really delightful. We supply all the technology in our buildings throughout the country, and all the applications that people use, and of course the infrastructure and security. So yeah, our aim is to make it really nice for our people and their experience with technology to be good.
So then, as a CIO, in what ways are you collaborating and influencing the organization and its leadership team?
So PwC is a partnership, so it's led by partners who are the owners of the business. I myself work across a number of different steering groups to bring my experience of change and tech enablement to all sorts of different types of transformation. So we have a group around future workplaces, which is very topical at the moment. I also sit on a governance group for a program we call Unleashed, which is about people having their best chapter ever in their working careers when they work at PwC. There's an information protection group. Our people and culture area is currently under transformation, corporate sustainability, and business support. So I work in sort of embedded into the governance of those areas to bring technology enablement, and then the team deliver on that sort of enablement.
And I know that creating a good internal culture is something that's you're really passionate about. So can you tell us a bit more about how you're going about that in inspiring individual growth and opportunities for your team to allow them achieve their personal and their professional goals?
Yeah, so I have the most amazing team. They are incredible. And that is really where I like to focus rather than too much on the bits and bytes. So I encourage all of my staff to pursue training. As a preference, I prefer university papers. I take one myself each semester. They're great value for money. You get in-depth learning. And when I walk up to the university and join a lecture of young people and people from other countries, it's really neat. There's really real diversity and energy in the classroom. So I really love it, and I encourage my staff to do that. It has been online for the last 18 months, but when we do manage to get into the lecture theatres, it's a real nice break, and it's a great walk up from the city and just a reminder of all the different paths of life out there. So I have a number of people who do university papers. We also do the industry standard courses as well, like Prince 2 and change management and other technical qualifications. But the really important thing for developing people, I think, is giving them that sense of engagement. We have a really high engagement score. I'm sure you all do those staff satisfaction surveys, and ours is 96%. So our staff are incredibly engaged. And I think we got there because we run really good teams. So everyone wants to belong to a team, and you don't want that team to be too big. So we have our large teams that are functional, like IT, but within that, I'm very lucky to have a fabulous leadership team who lead their group of, say, 10 to 20 people each. And that's where the real sense of belonging is created. They all have chats with lots of gifts and jokes, and they have lunches together, and they volunteer together. And then as a large group, we do things as well. But creating that sense of who you are and the team you're in. It's been really fabulous, and that's really down to the leadership team I have. We really have fun, and we bring our whole self to work. We have 25% Māori and Pacifica in our team, 45% women, and we have people of all ages across 15 different nationalities. So it's a really vibrant mix of people, and it's a lot of fun. We have a baking day every second Monday, and we take it in turns to bake, and there's lots of laughter, and I definitely make it part of the recruitment that you need to be good at baking, or at least know someone who is.
That's always good. Always good to have a baker in the team. So can you tell us a bit more about, you've gone from, you've gotten a really high staff engagement rate, and before you came into the role, it was lower. So can you tell us a bit more around maybe some strategic things that you did to lift that staff engagement rate, and also get more diverse people into IT roles?
Yeah, sure. It's like been lots and lots of layers of constructing this level of engagement. One really important part of it is that we work hard, myself and the leadership team, to enable our team to connect to purpose. Most of my staff are active in their own purpose. PwC's purpose is to solve important problems and create trust in society. So this gives us lots of ways to connect our purpose to the company's purpose, because solving important problems is a really nice broad purpose to have, and it's really important. It really inspires so many people. So what our team do is they have volunteer days. They can use their time to do things in the community, and we have so much beautiful stuff going on. Sometimes they'll do it in little groups, and sometimes they do it on their own. I have people doing volunteering at Mummies in Need at the mission. A couple of our young women staff went to high schools and talked about all the different roles there are in technology, because a lot of people think it's just coding, and it's certainly not just coding. We've got one of our team, he runs the Brazilians in IT forum to help people who are new immigrants. And we've got a really cool initiative that we're just starting now that COVID's calmed down. And we are going to take, together as a team, we're going to go to a retirement village and help people there with the digital divide, help to give them a few skills on their phones and on their laptops. So by doing that, it creates all these wonderful opportunities for teamwork and to work to a higher purpose, whatever that is for you. The practical things that I've done to have such a diverse team is, if you want diversity, you need to recruit diversity. And it sounds really simple, and it really is that simple. You need to find women and Māori and Pacific people and recruit them. That's what we've done, and I haven't found a shortage of candidates. I do use some non-traditional recruitment pools. A plug here for Techtorium and Media Design School, and of course the universities. But because of this purpose work that we do, we're really visible in the community. One of my leaders, Simole Ati, she's from Samoa. She speaks at community sessions about IT. She's active in her church and in her community. So we're visible. And that, I think, means that we attract the talent. The other thing I do is with recruiters, if I'm hiring for a role, I will ask them to send me an equal number of men and women candidates. So you can send me 3 male candidates, but you need to send me 3 women as well. And what this does is it helps the recruiters. Often our first thought when someone asks for, do you know someone who's great at infrastructure? Our first thought might be a male. But if you are told you have to think of a male and an equal number of females, then you're going to think of the great female candidate too. And it's just that shoulder tapping that can now happen for women that didn't in the past. And then we will hire, of course, the best candidate, but when we're interviewing equal numbers, it really helps a lot more. So that's some of the things we've done. We've done a lot of work on making sure our remuneration is fair, and trying to erode our gender pay gap. PwC has publicised its gender pay gap, so there's a lot of work going on there. So yeah, lots of different layers, but you know, if you don't recruit women and Māori, Pacifica, minorities, you're not going to have them. It's really is that simple.
So then I guess you disagree with, statements that there's a talent shortage here in New Zealand IT.
I'm sure there is a shortage in some niche areas, but I don't suffer from a talent shortage. I know lots of graduates who really struggle to get roles in IT when they finish. I probably talk to 5 or 6 new grads a week, helping them to find pathways into that first job. So thank you to all the people out there that I tell them to tap into, because there are some great organisations with wonderful grad pipelines. I mean, PwC, we hire 140 graduates a year. Places like Planet Testing, Datacom, or, you know, there are a lot of graduate programs, and they are fabulous, and that's really what we need. Your tech team should be an ecosystem that includes all levels of roles, and you grow from the bottom. So if you're finding you've got a talent shortage, perhaps you need to redesign your team so you have entry-level roles and lots of room for growth. The staff, our existing staff, get such a boost from having entry-level roles that they can mentor, that they can help. But if you have a model where you're only wanting to recruit intermediate staff, or your most junior role is not a grad, then by nature you're relying on someone else to have trained them. So you're creating the talent shortage. So in a garden, if we all wanted seedlings, but no one wanted to germinate seeds, it wouldn't work.
Yeah.
So perhaps it's not a talent shortage, it's an opportunity to create teams that are ecosystems and nourishing people from that seed. We have had no attrition in 2.5 years. We grow our own talent. We have had some people promoted into other parts of the PwC organisation, and we always look for how we can help our people to step up and be promoted, and then to recruit at that entry level if possible. So take grads, promote people. You really do need fabulous leaders though if you want to grow people, and that's what I'm really lucky to have. So I love the diversity that brings, and the entry level staff, they bring so much laughter and delight. They mostly laugh at me, which is okay, and they teach me new things like gaming, and you know, we really have fun because of that diversity, and everyone likes to get promoted. So I do have a rule with the people and culture team when we're looking for a new hire. The first thing we do, let's do a scan. You never hire into someone's career path. That is so demotivating. You know, if you've got someone who's almost there, grow the person you've got. Don't hire on top of them.
So does this feed into what I've heard you speak about before, which is creating technology jobs that don't suck?
Yes, it does. When I took the team on maybe 3-4 years ago, they had a staff engagement score of 52%, which really meant that half of the time, half of them were really disengaged. And so I set out, the first task was to create a job in IT that didn't suck. And I'd had a lot of jobs that sucked myself. You know, IT is a high pressure area. You're always having to learn. There's always deadlines. And some people's reaction to that is very controlling and not very nice to be around. And So I had jobs that sucked, and I thought that things could be done better, and it turns out that they can. And once we had jobs that didn't suck, we had to think about what next. And now we talk about jobs where people thrive and their whānau thrive. And that's really, we didn't start with people being able to go out into the community. It's only once you're really happy and stable in your job that you can bring that best self to work and out into your community. So that's when people thrive, their whānau thrive, and our communities thrive. A job has a huge ripple effect. And if someone is unhappy in their job, it's really causing damage to families and communities. So for all the leaders out there, when your people come to work or work from home, you want them to end the day in a really positive state for their families. You're sending people home to their families. Send them home fulfilled. It's our duty, it's our obligation.
Great advice. Thanks, Rebecca. And speaking of working from home, you mentioned that you are working at PwC and looking at the future workplaces. So, do you think hybrid's the norm going forward, or what approach is PwC taking? Where do you see things panning out when it comes to future workplaces?
This is a really exciting time, I think, to be in tech enablement and workplaces and engagement and all these things coming together, because I just don't think we know. I think it's going to be a time of great experimentation, and you're going to have to take some calls on the chin. You're going to need to be able to mobilize a set of conditions, review that, and perhaps course correct into something if it doesn't work. So we've got a team working on this, and it's really neat because it's a diverse team, coming from our client-facing staff, our people and culture, myself, facilities, and I'm really lucky to have an expert in collaboration technologies. And so we all get together and we talk about what we're going to do next. But it's really taking shorter time frames and putting pilots in place and measures and things like that. And I think it's going to be really exciting, but you do need that safe to fail place, because nobody really knows how the hybrid working, it will be hybrid. I don't think anyone really knows how that's going to pan out, but it's fun to try new things.
Absolutely. So then can you tell us then, looking ahead to the rest of this year, what's important for you as we go into the rest of this year?
So we've got an Oracle rollout this month, and as with any EMFI, that's going to be an exciting and probably a little bit bumpy ride. So supporting that rollout's going to be key. I've just taken on a new team of business support. It's a team of 60 people who do the administrative business support throughout the country. So I want to make sure they love their jobs and their jobs don't suck. I also head up the corporate sustainability, and our corporate sustainability strategy is coming out. That's what I've been studying at university. So it's really nice to get to do it as well. That's been a really long process, lots of broad consultation to get integrity in our output for corporate sustainability. And it's a real growth area. And our team run the Net Zero program, and we've been aligning our strategy to the UN Sustainable Development Goals. And, it's really important to get this stuff right and for corporates to do their bit in the corporate sustainability space. Working out exactly what that is again, a bit of an experimentation. And then really it's just to care for the people I lead truly and deeply, to make their jobs a place of really positive experiences, to have that ripple effect on whānau and communities. And, we've got some wonderful leaders in this country and in this industry doing that. And I think it's a really transformative time where that sort of leadership is valued and prevalent. So it's a good time to be working.
Indeed. And I think that's a great place to leave it on. Rebecca Thomas, CIO for PwC, thank you for joining us today.